Have you ever noticed something strange? The ones who cut corners, bend the rules, even live without a clear sense of right or wrong, often look the happiest. They laugh the loudest, party the hardest, and walk through life as if nothing can touch them. Meanwhile, people who hold on to values, truth, honesty, integrity, compassion, often look tired, burdened, weighed down by responsibility. So the question is, why do people with no values sometimes live the happiest lives? And is what we're seeing really happiness? Let's start by looking at the value-free life. Imagine someone who doesn't overthink. They don't ask, is this right? Is this fair? Am I hurting someone? Instead, they ask, does this feel good? Will this benefit me right now? And when you live like that, happiness feels easy. No guilt, no overthinking, no late night tossing and turning wondering if you made the moral choice. It's like playing a game where you ignore the rules. You win faster, you score higher, you take shortcuts. But here's the catch. When you don't play by the rules, you also don't feel the weight of the game. Life becomes lighter, freer, and yes, seemingly happier. But think about someone you know, maybe a colleague, a classmate, or even a celebrity who lives recklessly. They don't care about right or wrong. Don't they always look so carefree? Now let's flip the perspective. Living with values is not easy. If you've ever stood up for the truth when lying would have saved you, you know the weight. If you've ever chosen kindness when it cost you time, money, or comfort, you know the sacrifice. If you've ever said no to temptation because it clashed with your principles, you know the inner battle. Values demand discipline, and discipline often feels like pain. This is why the people with strong values sometimes look less happy on the outside, because they're walking uphill while others are sliding downhill. But here's something important. Uphill builds muscle. Downhill makes you weak. Let me tell you a story. There were two friends. One lived for pleasure, the other lived for principle. The pleasure seeker always had money, parties, and fun. He laughed every night, never worried about tomorrow. The principled one studied hard, saved money, worked with honesty, even when it meant staying up late and missing out on the fun. Years later, life flipped. The pleasure seeker, who never built roots, found himself empty when times got hard. His so-called friends disappeared when his money went out. But the principled one, though he struggled in his youth, had built a foundation of trust, respect, and purpose. His happiness was quieter, but stronger. The lesson? One lived for the moment. The other lived for meaning. So here's the paradox. People with no values look happy because their happiness is visible. It's loud, colorful, and immediate. But it's fragile. Remove the fun, the money, the attention, and suddenly the laughter stops. Meanwhile, people with values carry a different kind of happiness. It's not always visible, it doesn't always make noise, but it runs deep, like underground water. Ask yourself, would you rather drink from a shallow puddle that dries up in the sun? Or from a deep well that never runs out, even in drought? The real issue is that society tricks us. We think happiness is what we see. The smile, the party, the wealth, the freedom. But true happiness is invisible. It's peace of mind. It's sleeping well at night. It's knowing you didn't betray yourself. And here's the twist. Sometimes the most burdened person, the one struggling, sacrificing, and walking with values, is actually happier inside than the person laughing loudly with no care in the world. Because real happiness isn't noise. It's quiet. Pause for a moment and think. When was the last time you felt deeply happy? Not excited, not entertained, not distracted, but happy. Chances are, it wasn't at a party or a shopping spree. It was when you helped someone, when you kept a promise, when you stood by your values. That's the difference. People with no values chase pleasure. People with values discover fulfillment. So why do people with no values sometimes live the happiest lives? Because they live lightly. They don't carry responsibility, guilt, or sacrifice. They smile easily, they laugh loudly, and on the surface, they shine. But ask yourself, when the storms of life come, and they always come, whose happiness will survive? Theirs or yours? Maybe the truest happiness is not in escaping burdens, but in choosing the right burdens to carry. And that's something only values can give you. So next time you see someone living carelessly and think, they're so happy, I wish I was like them, remember, you may be building something they will never have. Happiness that's unshakable, unbreakable, and eternal. Because real happiness isn't about laughing the loudest. It's about living the truest.